O Allah, guide me among those whom thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what thou hast judged. Surely thou judgest, and none can judge against thee, and he whom thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art thou, O Lord, and exalted be thee above what they set up besides thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is thy servant and apostle. Amen.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Sister Sajdah Muhammad. Join us for Donate and Sip 2. We are hosting an event to help raise funds for the completion of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House Museum. The event will take place Saturday, July 9th, 2022. This non-alcoholic wine and sparkling tea tasting event is sponsored by Magnolia Crescent Non-Alcoholic Winery and will be held at the historic Honorable Elijah Muhammad House located at 4847 South Woodlawn Avenue in the rear garden. Bring a friend, come by, and celebrate this historic project with us on Saturday, July 9th, 2022 from 4 to 7 p.m. Central Time. To register for this historic event, click the link in the bio or simply go to eventbrite.com and search Donate and Sip. Capacity is limited. This is Sister Sajdah Muhammad. We are proud to announce that the Sajdah House commemorative Elijah coins are finally here. As we renovate and restore the former home of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we have recycled the old copper gutters and downspouts and created a 1-ounce 39mm coin made of 100% pure copper. Each coin is professionally graded and has its own barcode and registration number. This priceless heirloom, made from recycled copper from the messenger's home, is now available at sajdahhouse.com. Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, family. How is everyone? I didn't bother to turn on the light today because I figured it's early. It's early. We just chat without the light on. How about that? Shout out to all the brothers in the chat this morning. Listen, y'all know how I feel about Black men. And I'm always pushing and defending the brothers, and sometimes it's offensive to the sisters because sometimes it's defensive or offensive because we've gotten so accustomed in our pop culture vernacular to be anti-Black men. And I've been on a couple panels lately where other successful Black women have actually argued with me and argued at me because of my support and commitment to Black men. And I can go into a lot with that. Most of their argument is based on sexuality. And my thing is like, look, if you're basing it on that, then I don't even know what to tell you there, because I don't have another choice other than black men. You all give yourselves other options. And and then it's interesting because we like to promote successful black women who have taken those other options. But I'm going to stick to that because for me, um, I was raised by a beautiful black man who supported me and gave me a great image of what a black man and what black commitment is looks like. So I have a standard in my mind. Um, and then throughout my journey, I've had really amazing and great black men who have supported me and counseled me and helped me. So, excuse me, my chai tea is not working on the allergy voice today. Um, I should have put a little hint of cayenne in it, huh? So I'm gonna just keep going with that. I think I told you all a little bit last week, and you probably have heard me talk about the Mind of an Entrepreneur show that I'm working on, that we're working to pitch. Um, and as I was just working on the show treatment and looking at it, I decided that I wanted to highlight businesses that are owned and developed by Black men. Because it just seems to me that the Black male, who the straight Black male is almost becoming an endangered species. And I know this is a controversial topic to people, but I'm just saying it anyway because this is my stance. I believe that if people have a right to say what they believe out here in the world, then I have a right to say what I believe as well. But they're at the brink of almost becoming extinct. It's like everybody wants to be them and be with them, but nobody wants them around. And then if a Black man presents himself, I saw this controversy last week with I think it was Russell Wilson, Sierra's husband, that if he doesn't present in the package, speaking and looking what they typically say Black men should speak and look like, then they say, okay, but he ain't Black enough. And so the respect of the diversity of Black men is not there. And we have some Black men who are doing great things. And if you look on the internet, if you look in the news and you look around, there are some brothers doing some great things. And so with the show, I was just chatting to somebody about it, and they were like, yeah, but I think you should focus on, Russell Wilson. Yeah, and I thought that was so sad because here he is doing what we say we want brothers to do, being dedicated to his wife. He treats his wife like a queen. He takes care of his children. I mean, from what we could see, that's how he presents. But yet, he gets the stigma of not being Black enough. So somehow being an upstanding man is not, you don't define a Black man as that. And I just think that's wrong. I think we need more, Black men needs more support, and we need more Black women who openly show their support of Black men. See, the media forces us to just accept everybody. We're like, I just gotta love it, and that's fine. You can, but you have the right to have your preference. So don't tell me my preference can't be my brother if your preference is your sister, or your preference is somebody else's brother. Mine is mine. Mine is black men. And so, and yeah, brother Andy said he also takes care of another man's child. How many black men do that and have done that? And don't get me wrong, I know that the history has not been perfect, but I'm just talking about the positive side. That's the side that I experienced, and that I continue to experience from my brother, and I appreciate that. And Brother Lamont says, I agree, straight black men need more support. I think you do. And so I want the Mind of an Entrepreneur show to highlight businesses owned by black men. You got brothers who have made a mistake, gone to prison, and are now returning citizens. They can't get a job, so they're opening businesses, and they're viable, successful businessmen. I want to highlight them. I want to show the world who these men are and what success looks like. You have brothers who said, you know what, I went to college, I graduated from college, I went to corporate America, and now I own a business, and I want to continue with that business. I want support. I want to highlight those businesses, and not where we go in and take over their businesses, but we go in and help them, and we offer them some support. And you would think, see, right now, if the trend is to support underserved communities, then to me, the black males, if you look at them as black men as a community, our community, the black men are the most underserved in our community, in my opinion, because they don't enjoy the same rights as black men. And yes, again, I've been accused of this. Well, what about black women? Of course we deserve the support. Of course we deserve somebody to treat us in a certain kind of way. And of course we have an elephant in the room in our community, which is our views towards sex, sexuality, sexual promiscuity, sexual perversion. We have that's an elephant in the room, in my opinion. We don't talk about that enough. We don't talk about sex trafficking. We don't talk about the savagery, and we don't talk about that enough. So my thing is, let's support these black men and these black boys, so that we can work to reverse some of this stuff. That's just my opinion. I'm just appalled. It's always like Allah gives me some kind of subject to deal with. He's like, he gives me a cause, and then it causes all this controversy, and I'm like, and it's a no-brainer to me. To me, that's just a no-brainer. I couldn't go against my beautiful fathers. I couldn't go against my beautiful brothers. And at the end of the day, the black man is God. And you can say what you want to say, but God couldn't be anything other than a black man if you even trace it back scientifically. It's not even possible. It's not impossible for him to be the creator of the universe, even to go all the way back there. It's not impossible for him to be anything other than a God. And I know that's hard for a lot of people to swallow. That's some of the issues that they have with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his teachings. But when you come to the house, you're going to learn about the black man as God. It's not impossible that he was anything else. I see some people now admit that black women are the mothers of civilization. And they say, okay, all life began with us. And a lot of people admit that now. Okay, well, who was there with us? White men? Asian men? If the Black woman is the mother of civilization and she's been there since the very beginning, how did she procreate? There was a Black man there with her. She had a Black king, a Black God there with her. So I don't understand how you erase the Black man out of the picture. I don't even understand how people erase the Black man out of their lives. And I get it. A lot of people have gone through abuse, and don't write me on that. But some of y'all ain't gone through nothing. And y'all just saying, okay, I'm giving up on Black men. Y'all doing it because it's popular. You're doing it because pop culture says do it. You're adopting behaviors. And that's the thing about groupthink. When you're not an independent thinker, you groupthink. And so you go, okay, this is how I need to act in order to be successful. I just think it's interesting. So anyway, shout out to the brothers in the chat. Shout out to the brother Russell Wilson, who I would say to you, dear brother, that you are a Black man. You are an example of a Black man. I'm a daddy's girl. I grew up with that kind of fatherly example and experience and all of that kind of stuff. So I just think that it's sad. This is very sad that here this brother is striving, he and all other brothers who are striving to be right. And then here's the thing. Whenever I would say, well, okay, so he's striving and he's doing a great job, they say, yeah, but back in the day. Okay, everybody got a back in the day. Everybody has to evolve from something. Anybody who's probably been perfect their entire life, you likely don't want them. Most of us as straight sisters, you don't want no man that ain't never been through anything, because he's not going to know how to treat you. He's not going to know the difference between his own selfish desires and giving to his family. He's just not going to know. So don't give me the, oh, well, back in the day. Don't give me that. I believe, everybody evolves. When you see Jay-Z holding up his queen, Beyonce, but we don't talk about that. They go, okay, yeah, they're a power couple. But nobody talks about that. They want to go to back in the day. Well, back in the day, he did this. And back in the day, he did that. But you know what's so beautiful about, I know my father was like this, that they embraced their mistakes that they made back in the day, worked to correct them, and continue to pay for them, but maintain the vigilance of being an upstanding man. That's the godlike nature of the Black man. And I just think it's so wrong that so many of us as sisters have really given up. And when you speak about Black men into some of these circles, the vitriol that comes back. And I looked at that and I said, you know what? A lot of this ain't even y'all. You just doing this because these folks that's writing checks is saying that that's how it is. It's like an offshoot of the welfare system mentality that has gone out into the pop cultural world. You know how, I forget which president it was, who once they started putting, giving aid to families and welfare, they didn't want a man in the house, and you couldn't get the money if you were if you were married or you had a male or the father of your children in the house. It's almost like we've taken that and expanded it and mushroomed out into something. I did a little talk here on the brother who created the shows Good Times and the Jeffersons and Sanford and Son was his brainchild. And he talked about how Esther Roll did not want to play in the movie Good Times unless there was a man in the house. And that's significant, very significant. And unfortunately or fortunately for you all, brothers, is y'all got to walk a tightrope. Can't be Bill Cosby and be the father of the world and then be giving people date rape drugs on the side, allegedly. So for you all, yeah, it is a tightrope. You're on a pedestal. There's a microscope on you. And if you've done some things in your past that you're not proud of, the idea is to atone for those mistakes, to move past them. You're going to pay for them. The world is going to make you pay for them in one way or another. But keep growing and keep evolving. Yeah, Brother Jamil said that was Lyndon Baines Johnson. Okay. Yeah, so just keep evolving, keep growing. Everybody got a back in the day. And try not to judge yourself by the way pop culture has taught the world to judge you. So they jack your style, jack your swagger, culture vultures all around you. And then they don't want to be around you. So the Mind of an Entrepreneur show is going to emphasize Black men. So that's something that's been in the news, and it was just on my mind just because I've been going through it as I've been talking to people about this show and pitching it and having different conversations where people are really like, don't focus on Black men. I said, you know what? That's what we're gonna do. Let's see, brother says, a Black man, you need a compass and a ruler for morality in this world. That's right. That's right, Brother Andy. Thank you. Praise be to Allah. Yeah, I agree. I think the brother's a class act, and I think that he deserves, what is she said, Fantasia's husband, Kendall Taylor, is another good example. They have powerful and inspiring story. That's right. That's right. I just think that, and real Black men love real Black women. That's a little stereotypical, but that's very true because it's something about, your own and understanding how to speak to the extremes in our personalities. When you get, with somebody that's like you don't feel like you have to water things down and stuff like that. So shout out to Black men. That's just where I stand. Call me whatever you want to call me. But that's just how it is. We're going to highlight on the show Black men, Black male businesses. And the television show is going to be about businesses run, open, and operated by Black men. And when we come, the beginning of the show, we're going to show their background and their struggle and who they are and how they got to where they are today and how they may have turned their lives around, or they're working to turn their lives around. So the show is going to be, how every show has a platform. My platform is that for this particular show, focusing on supporting Black men and getting more Black women to come on board and to support. I personally think it'll be a really hot show. The Black man is God, so he looks good. So being able to watch him on television doing business as a God, listen, I would watch the show. I don't know about y'all, but I think you'll watch. It's also an untapped market. Y'all hear me talk about this all the time. Most advertisers, even songs that are written nowadays, are not geared towards Black men. I say this all the time, and I've been saying it for years, and people don't catch on to it. They go, they don't believe it. But I will tell you that I've made millions of dollars in my lifetime, and it has primarily been from being of service to and focusing on Black men, including in the healthcare industry. Most of healthcare out here black men just get sent to the VA and laid up in the hospital with the gout or whatever they got and just set up to die. You go in these nursing homes and these retirement homes, you pretty much will see maybe a handful of black men, see a lot of black women. The life expectancy is shorter. So we need to do something about that. Um, when we started the Minimally Invasive Vascular Center, one of the things that I did was focused on Black men. I was coming off the heels of the passing of my father, who had been an athlete his entire life, both collegiate and professionally. And when he got older and just didn't feel that he couldn't do the things in the gym that he once could do, I felt a depression set in. And I felt that he just gave up. And so he started having back issues, probably from so many years of jumping and running and everything. Started taking cortisol shots, ended up with diabetes that he just really didn't take care of. And so I thought to myself, well, why is that? And I said, well, probably not feeling comfortable when you go to the doctor, not trusting the doctor, just kind of being in that bubble of discomfort and distrust. And so when we started the center, I started doing advertising on NBA games, NFL games, anything that I could find, any medium I could find where I knew that Black men were watching. We started advertising. And then I started to get them to come in by focusing on ED, because I know a lot of Black men are worried about that. And so if we focus on that, we'll get them in here and get them to take care of their health. So we started focusing on that because that's a byproduct of diabetes and some of these other cardiovascular risk factors, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, the different medications. A lot of people give up on just being intimate because they can't anymore the way they once used to. And so we started to focus on that. And I had a ad that says, getting older does not mean the end of your sex life. And for men, at the rate in which they're dealing with our brothers, that's 40. And it's crazy. 40 with the medications and the diets out here that are impeding our brothers' ability to perform sexually. It's young. With these blood clots and smoking and all of that stuff, that's young. So we started to focus on that. And then the brothers started to come in. And I remember one day having this sense of pride. There were probably 6 or 7 patients in the waiting room. And I remember looking at them, and they're all Black men. And as I looked out in the parking lot, I seen all these late model cars. And I said, why are they always acting like Black men ain't got no money, and Black men don't take care of households, and Black men don't have this or that? Most of the time when Black men come in and they come to the doctor, they have insurance. And so we just started really working with them and helping them to understand that they can have a better quality of life, that it's not over, and that there are things that you can do to help you to live happier, healthier, and to continue. We celebrate, Black women who are 70, 80, who are weightlifters and decide to open up businesses. Let's do the same thing for Black men. Let's celebrate them when they turn their lives around. Let's celebrate them when they're doing things that defy the pop cultural propaganda. Let's celebrate it. Let's celebrate it. So that's what the show is all about. That's just one of the things that's a pet peeve to me that black men get older, you can't just throw them away. And I know that oftentimes we we get upset because maybe when we knew him when he was younger, maybe we go, okay, he wasn't shit back then. So now that he old, I'm not dealing with him. I get that. There's memories and stuff like that there, but that's not true for all of them. It's not true for every single black man. So let's start to tease out those brothers. And I know this probably won't be a very popular show. I see the numbers. I saw a certain number of people that, like, I can see how many people are watching. I can see the chat. I can see how many people are watching. Since I've been going on and on and on about black men, I see the numbers go down. It's all right. What y'all think about this Roe v. Wade drama that's going on? I don't speak on that because I have a certain view. I have never had an abortion. I don't think I would have one. Everybody says you never know until you're in that situation. But it's interesting because one thing I do know, that regardless of what oh, brother, you made a good point. He said it's the alcohol, drugs, and obesity that mostly cause that ED early. Yeah, it is. It's the alcohol. It's excessive amounts of alcohol, drugs, and smoking is really a key factor because it's going to clog up those arteries. And then most of the brothers, when they start to have that obesity at that early age and not work on their diet, the small vessels in their body get clogged or impacted, which ultimately is going to cause ED. And so, yeah, you're right. So we have to fix that. We have to turn that around so that brothers can be happier and healthier. And getting older just doesn't mean the end of their sex life. Anyway, going back to that, one thing I do know, and that is that regardless of what Roe v. Wade is or isn't, that there's always a hidden agenda. There's always something else. And we live in a world where you see one thing, but it means something else. And so you can bet your bottom dollar that this means something else. There's always an underlay for the overplay, as we say in Chicago. There's always an underlay for the overplay. So keep that in mind when you're watching this debate. Don't be so quick to jump in and say and take a side on whatever side there is. I guarantee you that there's some kind of underplay happening that is setting up the overplay. And as that goes down, you're going to see that there's something else that's going to come out of this. So just lay and wait and chill, and you'll see. All right. So I just really had to come out here today and celebrate our black men and say something about what I saw was said about our brother Russell Wilson. Just wrong. He ain't black enough. He ain't real black. What the hell does that mean? And who says that? To me, we should be rushing to claim him as an upstanding man, as he's demonstrated us that he is. It's just wrong. Anyway, any questions for me? Last Thursday, we had the manifestation class on the accomplishments of the Muslims. If you missed it, it really was a class in economics. So we talked about what causes inflation and deflation and recessions. And we talked about the economic conditions that were the baseline when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad developed his economic blueprint and demonstrated its success. It was in a period of the worst inflation and recession in modern day history. And in that period, a $75 million plus empire was developed. So I encouraged us to study and to really not run out of future, and to have the audacity of hope, as our President Barack Obama so eloquently states and made the title of his book. Because what happens, I even think for a lot of us as Muslims, Muslim followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when we think about the the upcoming transition and departure of our beloved father, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, when we think about, when we couple that with the fall of America, I think a lot of us get crippled and we become paralyzed and we run out of future, because it makes us think that we don't have to prepare for the future. And sometimes I think we forget the rest of it, the bottom rail being made to the top, the inheritance, and all the other hope and guarantees that were given to us in those teachings. I think we forget about it because sometimes that aspect of our teachings overpowers. And don't get me wrong, it's a very difficult subject to think about. When I think about, our minister not being with us, it's painful. And I have my own personal stresses about that. And so, but at the end of the day, we can't run out of future. We have to remember that, and I always say this to people, and I say, well, what are we going to inherit if we don't think about being builders and putting ourselves in position? What are we going to, is it going to be like one of those Will Smith movies, are you thinking, where we're going to be eating each other and in the boarded up house? Like, how is that going to go? What are we inheriting? What happens when the Rockefellers and the DuPonts are sat down? Who's in charge? Who's the bottom rail that's being raised to the top? And if we're not preparing in that manner, yes, we have to store food in our houses. Yes, we have to make sure our survival kit is intact. But there's another side to that. We have to be ready, because if we believe that our diet is a superior diet, if we believe that our wisdom is a superior wisdom, if we believe that Allah came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, and that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his messenger, if we believe that, if we believe that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is their divine example in our midst, if we believe those things, then what is that belief for? Not so we can sit on the shelf like some of this stuff I have sitting behind me. It's because we have to be prepared. We have to be ready to save. We have to be ready to rule. We have to be ready to teach. We have to be ready to be examples. So we need investments. We need money. We need to be building an economy and an ecosystem so that we can support one another. So I just encourage us, and it's not just us. There's certain faiths where they say, well, this is the end of the world. It's the end times. And I just don't know what we're expecting to happen after that. Because I don't think that we can say on the one end that the black man is God, or that we know Jesus, and then run out of future. It just doesn't make sense to me. And so we talked about that. We talked about what it means. We talked about the difference between a local economy and a national economy, and how a national economy invests and seeds the local economy, and how if a national economy is sitting on reserves or money in a bank, then they are, in essence, losing money in order to allow somebody else to make money off of them. So that whole concept of creating an economy from a national level is important. It's important that we understand what a local economy must do and who makes up that local economy. So it's us as entrepreneurs who are out here introducing much needed goods and services into our economy. And generally, the way it will work is that the national government, which is the way the US government is supposed to run, they're supposed to support and seed the local economy so that the local economy is thriving and they continue to strengthen the national government. But the national government is weak now because they print money. They don't necessarily support local businesses the way that they should. And so we talked about that. We talked about what happens when too much currency is entered into a system and how the demand for currency goes down. And when the demand for currency goes down, then prices go up. I said this to somebody the other day, and people start saying to me things like, no, but half the money that is out here the resources didn't get to the right people. But I don't think they understand on a macro level. See, on a macro level, there's the way you look at something like macroeconomics or from a government standpoint. And then there's the local microeconomic or the consumer standpoint. From the consumer standpoint, from the microeconomic, the small businesses, yes, people were looking for PPP loans and fundings for their small businesses. They're looking for SBA loans and support from their government so that they can continue to introduce goods and services into the community. When that does not happen, then the local people start to lose faith in a government because the government is not helping the local people or supporting the local people. It's just basic economics 101. This is historical. So it's just something for us to think about, how we need to create and develop our economy just the way the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did. And there were businesses that were developed and started by the nation that local believers actually ran and developed. There were also businesses that the nation also ran as well, but it needed the local believers in order to run that economy. And that is what strengthened it and built it up to become a $75 million empire. And it was impactful to the city, to the state, in terms of paying retail taxes, in terms of creating jobs. But I think we have to make sure we don't run out of future and become stagnant. That's all I'm saying. And what I'm saying to us as individual entrepreneurs, for myself, shout out to Dr. George Fraser, who always says to me, he says, Wendy, you are the example that you talk. And that is my goal with the entire Mind of an Entrepreneur movement. I didn't even want to put it out until I had at least made $1 million myself. I wanted to make sure that I was living the example that I was talking. And so we have the Black Muslim Business Directory that I write. We have people that I started. We have people who get consultation services from me. Some people get their free initial services. There are others who have gone on for paid consultations and their businesses are doing very well. It's just kind of the way I give back in terms of being able to create that ecosystem and that economic structure that I believe is very important for us going into the future. I'm not one of those who runs out of future. I work, even if tomorrow was my last day, I'm going to work today as if I got another 100 years, because I want the impact of whatever it is that I do to be transferred to the next generation and to other people who come behind me. So that's important. And so I always tell us, buy Black. And for those of us who are Muslims, buy Black Muslim first. Support your community first. And then you move out to the other concentric circles in your community. Go through the Black Muslim Business Directory. If there's things that you need, we try to post them on Instagram. But if there's things or products or services that you're needing, make sure you go to the directory first. We have to create this ecosystem. We have to stop running out of future. What are some, let me say this real quick. What are some of the behaviors that tell me that we're running out of future? Number one, the way we hate on each other. We secretly, deep down inside, we say brother and sister, we say we love one another, but deep down inside, we don't support one another. And so when you don't support one another, that means you don't really see your future. Because in my opinion, I see a future of a thriving economy run by conscious people earning halal income, making a difference in this world of predatory capitalism. And so my whole thing is all about making sure that that vision, to the best of my ability, is real. I want us to be an example. I want us to be the go-to people of politicians when they need righteous people, when they need to make something happen. Come to us. You want something to happen? Come to us. Brother Aunt D put in the chat, another thing we do when we run out of future is we shadow boycott. So that's right. We come. I have people who call me like runaway slaves. Assalamu alaikum, sister. How you doing? I donated $50. I'm gonna get my coin. I'm like, why are you whispering? Why are you whispering, and why are you afraid to support the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his house? Why are you scared? They act like I'm Harriet Tubman and I'm on the way rolling along, and they want to duck out from behind the trees and say, here you go. Here's some victuals. Keep going. Yo, come on. Come with me. Let's support. Let's support economic development. Let's support the preservation of our community. Another thing, another reason why we run out of future is because we just don't know and we don't support our history. And so we run out of future. We run out of future. So I'm going to say that. Actually, I was talking to Brother Bedford, who's going to be our guest next Thursday on the manifestation class on the accomplishments of the Muslims. And he was talking to me about that. He said, you know, what happens with people is that their entire behavior, everything, every choice they make, every action they make is because they're running out of future. They play it safe. They're scared. They're nervous. They try not to do too much because they don't have faith in their future. And I said, brother, that's bullseye right there. You hit the nail on the head. I think it's Sister Aletha that always puts these bullseyes up here. You hit the nail on the head with that one. Because a lot of us act like we're not going to be here tomorrow, and we don't care about nothing that happens after we are no longer here. We ain't thinking about our children. We ain't thinking about our brother, our sister who's still here. All we know in our mind is that tomorrow ain't promised. We constantly say that over and over again. But I just want to challenge that. Tomorrow might not be promised by your physical body, but tomorrow's promised. Listen, if I'm sitting in this house and there's energy in this house and the walls of this house fall down, what happens to the energy? The house might be gone, but the energy is still here. The energy goes back up and is absorbed somewhere. So there is future. Tomorrow might not be promised to you, but it's promised for your children. is promised for the brothers and sisters that are here afterwards. It's important. Write down your history. Tell your story. Preserve your history. Let's stop acting like runaway slaves, like we scared massa gonna say something to us if we support viable projects like this. I just don't understand it, because my goal is to be an asset, and to be an asset. And I do my best. I do everything I can to be an asset to any and everybody that I come across. If I don't do nothing but smile at you and give you a compliment, I do everything I can to be an asset. And that's the legacy I want to leave here on this earth. So if I'm not here tomorrow, I feel like I've left some stuff that will contribute to the future of other people. So let's stop acting like there's no future after us. Let's stop running out of future. We got to stop that. And part of that is we're going to start supporting our Black men a little bit more. Okay, praise be to Allah. Okay, I see y'all. All right, all praises due to Allah. Y'all just messed up my whole subject. It started with me seeing the brothers in the chat, and then I just started flowing from there. But thank you all. Thank you so much for your continued support. Support the renovation. Make sure you come out on July 9th. If you have not registered, go to Eventbrite and eventbrite.com and type in donate and sip to, and you will see us there. Make sure you register. Make sure you come out and see us. We're going to have some special guests. So you're going to want to make sure you're in the house, and space is limited. So come out now. We're at 48. It's going to be at 4847 South Woodlawn Avenue at the Messenger's home. See the house pictured right here, right there. So it's going to be there in the rear garden. We've got a great sponsor. We have two sponsors, the Black Muslim Business Directory. So if you are in the Black Muslim Business Directory, you should make sure you are there. And we also have Magnolia Crescent Non-Alcoholic Winery. So you get to sit there. We're going to have some little tables for y'all to sit down and taste the non-alcoholic sparkling teas and wine, 0 alcohol. And just come and enjoy. Let me tell you something. I was thinking about this the other day, and I said, I think I figured out how to make time stand still. And I make time stand still when I'm talking about this great project. When I'm talking about that project, I have no concept of time. I have no concept of anything else that's going on except for the beauty of this project and the beauty of the preservation. It literally makes time stand still. And so in the rear garden, what's so powerful about it is that it's so peaceful back there. It feels like you're in some kind of vortex. That's what it feels like. It feels like you're in some kind of vortex. It feels like you're in a space and you don't even know where you are. You're just back there in all this peace. And a lot of people who have come to visit, who either live there with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad or who were there, said that he would walk back there a lot. And you actually can feel the peace of that presence in that rear garden. So that's what we're going to do, the fundraising event. That's where we're going to have Donate and Sip to. And I encourage you all to register and come out. It's going to be July 9th. We're going to get there about 4 o'clock. We'll probably be there till about 8, just chilling and networking and enjoying the peace and talking about this great man and the great people that were in that house. It's just, I don't know. It's a way that time stands still. So anyway, with all of that, all right. With that, y'all, I see some other comments in there I'm not going to post because at the end of the day, we're going to settle on the best part. That's what we're going to do. We're going to settle on the best part. We're going to promote our brothers and sisters, and we're going to support the renovation and restoration of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's house. Summertime shy with a righteous purpose. I like that, Brother Aunt D. Enjoying summertime shy with a righteous purpose. That's right. So come on out, get registered. This is something that's worth you taking a trip to Chicago for. Fly in, drive in, come on in. Let's just come back there. We'll be back there long enough that it'll be worth your time. And then there's other things that you can see and do while you're here in the Chi. But yeah, as my brother said, come on in and enjoy summertime Chi with a righteous purpose. All right, so peace and blessings, family. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for being active in the chat today. Shout out to my brothers. I really appreciate you all, and we will continue to do what we can to uplift you. And we ask that you do your part to uplift us as well. So peace and blessings. Enjoy your Saturday. I'm about to go get a workout in. Make sure you're working out, brothers. Walking, running, lifting weights, moving, dancing, karate, Tai Chi, whatever you do, make sure you're moving, make sure you're working out, make sure you're taking care of yourself and loving on yourself. Love starts with you. All right. Peace and blessings, family. Assalamu alaikum. This is Sister Sajdah Muhammad. Join us for Donate and Sip 2. We are hosting an event to help raise funds for the completion of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House Museum. The event will take place Saturday, July 9th, 2022. This non-alcoholic wine and sparkling tea tasting event is sponsored by Magnolia Crescent Non-Alcoholic Winery and will be held at the historic Honorable Elijah Muhammad House located at 4847 South Woodlawn Avenue in the rear garden. Bring a friend, come by, and celebrate this historic project with us on Saturday, July 9th, 2022 from 4 to 7 p.m. Central Time. To register for this historic event, click the link in the bio or simply go to eventbrite.com and search Donate and Sip. Capacity is limited.